gonna talk about is what does inventory tell us about when we look at those, when we look at cost of goods sold and inventory, we can create ratios to analyze how well a company is doing, selling off the inventory that they have. So inventory turnover shows how many times the company turns their inventory over during the period they sell it off. So you can think about the retail industry, it's about between 4 and 5, right? Because it's seasonal. I'm talking about clothes. It would be seasonal. It's an indicator, inventory turnover is an indicator of how well management is controlling the amount of inventory available. And we want inventory turnover to be high. We want to be getting it out of there, right? That means we're selling it and we're making money. So we want to have this, the bigger this number is, the better. But it depends on the industry. So for example, houses, if you are a contractor or you're a builder, turning over houses is going to have a lot lower inventory turnover than a grocery store, right? So, but for any other items, typically a higher turnover is better. And so the formula is cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. And to find the average inventory, you're gonna look at the ending inventory for the current year plus the ending inventory for the last year, or beginning inventory plus ending inventory divided by 2 to get this denominator. So that's one formula that we're gonna use in this homework problem. And the days sales and inventory tells us how much inventory is available in terms of the number of days. So ending inventory divided by cost of goods sold times 365. This tells us how many days our inventory sits on the shelf before it's sold, basically. So ending inventory divided by cost of goods sold times 365. Although I have seen this calculated a different way, but this is the way they want us to calculate it. Another way could just be 365 divided by the inventory turnover, but that's not the way. It's almost the same answer, but it's a little different. So let's go to the homework problem. And I'm gonna open up Word so that I can put the formulas up above. Okay, so it says technical issues here. All right. All right, so it says, use the information above to compute inventory turnover for year 3 and year 2. Make this a little bigger. Okay, so inventory turnover, remember, inventory turnover equals cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. And that denominator, average inventory, equals two, my cost of goods sold is $326,650. And then I have to be careful here. So that was my cost of goods sold, $326,650 divided by average inventory. So let's calculate that together. My average inventory for year two will be $96,750. My ending inventory for year two. Oh, let's do it the way I have it in the formula. $101,500, which is last year's ending inventory. Year one's ending inventory plus this year's ending inventory, $96,750, divided by 2, and that will tell me my average inventory. $99,125. That will go to the denominator. So I'm gonna take the cost of goods sold divided by my average inventory. So drop that average down in here to the denominator. Questions? Okay, then the days in sale inventory is how many days on average does the inventory sit there before we sell it? So days in sale, days sales inventory equals the ending inventory divided by cost of goods sold, and then multiply that by 365. So my ending inventory for year two